From the very moment that we are able to envision a future for ourselves, we become hellbent to make sure that that vision becomes a reality. From childhood to adolescence to adulthood, we are consumed by this idea to make our lives better, to reach our goals. But what happens when we don't? There may be plenty of people that you know in your life that from that moment, from that inception of a dream in their life, they have been driven to achieve that goal, and then they did. You may have been the same way, but when you fail, how do you bounce back? How do you persevere? How do you overcome? This is a story about not reaching your dreams. This is a story about loss and grief and pain. This is a story about beating the odds and overcoming. This is The Way Back. I have many interests in my life, but there are two things in particular that really consume me and that really intrigue me. That is basketball, and that is film and the entertainment industry. This movie, The Way Back, starring Ben Affleck, is such a beautifully told story through the eyes of Jack Cunningham, who was a all-star potential pro basketball player in this small town, this small Catholic school, who didn't reach his dreams. He failed. There are many times that actors in Hollywood phone in performances. You reach a point in your career where you have collected all of the money that you will ever need in your life, and when more money comes calling, you phone in a performance. You just don't give it your all. No one is immune to this by any stretch of the imagination, but Ben Affleck in this movie came to play. You believe that he is Jack Cunningham, and Jack certainly has not had an easy life since being this megastar of a basketball player. He is a recent divorcee. He is struggling with this loss and grief that is not yet known to us, and he's also battling alcoholism. He's also working a job that he hates in a steel mill or a steel production company. And throughout the very opening scenes of this movie, it's not very hard to tell that he is living a life like many of us are, stuck in a job that we can't stand and being around coworkers that we absolutely despise. But he's stuck. He's in a rut, and he doesn't know what to do. Until one day, a former teacher of his at this Catholic school comes calling. That teacher's name is Father Divine. He informs Jack that the basketball coach of the team that he played on growing up had a heart attack. He is going to make a full recovery, but the basketball coach's wife informs the father that it isn't such a good idea, she believes, to put him back on the floor because of his current condition. So Father Divine offers Jack Cunningham the job, and he fights it. He fights it for a long time. He does not want to say yes, but ultimately he breaks down and shows up to practice. There are admittedly a lot of basketball movie tropes in this particular film. You have adversity, you have a coach that doesn't know how to connect to its players, you have players that are arrogant and cocky and want to show out whether they have the skills or not. Despite all of that, though, this movie really shows a lot of heart in it. And if I could be so bold, I would say that this is the best basketball movie that has been put out since Coach Carter. There are some ancillary things about this movie that I really enjoy as well. One of the biggest pet peeves of mine in any sort of basketball-related project is that one of two things will happen. One, you get basketball players who do not know how to act, or two, you get actors who do not know how to play basketball. Not everyone in that role succeeded. There were some speaking roles that did not play basketball well or well enough to be able to be passable on camera, but every non-speaking role knew how to play basketball, and that was really something that I just was, as a fan, able to enjoy. Throughout the movie, you really start to understand why Jack operates the way that he does, why he has turned to alcoholism to cope with his pain, and what caused it, and his interpersonal relationships with his family and his extended family. I'm not going to spoil anything for you because I would implore you to go watch this movie. At the time of recording, it is on Peacock. I know that it is going to leave the platform eventually, but if you are watching this video anywhere near its release point, you should be able to watch it for free with a subscription on Peacock. Because Jack went to a Catholic high school, there is a faith element in this movie, but it isn't overtly preachy or anything like that. I actually think that it's done very masterfully. It actually deals more with the loss of faith than having faith. One of the reasons why I adore this movie so much is because it tackles real issues the same way that Coach Carter tackled racism and prejudice in this small town. This movie, The Way Back, tackles depression and loss and grief and redemption in a way that if it was done by any other producer, any other director, or a group of any other actors, I don't think that it would have been as masterful and as well done as it was. I'm actually surprised that it took me this long to actually watch the movie. It was released in 2020 and it was never on my radar. It was never presented to me as anything at all. A lot of people in my life know me as the basketball fan, like the token basketball fan in their life. So normally, in any other scenario, I would be force fed this information. Like when Hustle came out with Adam Sandler, I had no less than 10 text messages of, "Oh my god, did you see this new basketball movie coming out on Netflix with Adam Sandler?" Not once did someone hit me up about The Way Back, and I am now aggravated and angry that no one did. I cannot begin to explain to you how much I adore this particular film. It is so beautiful in its essence. It is focused on real life. It is focused on hardships that everyday people go through. It is focused on overcoming that adversity in a realistic way that we can all model our lives after. Aside from some of the speaking roles, not knowing how to play basketball at a believable level, I didn't have any problem with this movie at all. The storytelling, the script, the cast, the lighting, the pace of the story, the musical score, the soundtrack, all of it was so good. I'm not too proud to admit that there were multiple moments in this movie that moved me to tears, whether that be the beautiful acting done by all of the cast, or whether that was the subject matter that was hitting a little too close to home for me. The message that resonated with me the most in this movie is that in your life, you are going to have setbacks. You are going to have hardships and failures, and there are going to be times where you don't want to get out of bed, you just want to lay there and die. But there is always, pun intended, a way back from that situation. Again, if you couldn't tell, I absolutely adore this movie. Please go watch it. If you are watching this video anywhere near the release date, it's going to be on Peacock. Go watch it. I promise you, you won't regret it. Believe it or not, I actually got recommended this movie through my For You page on TikTok, and if you will allow me a cheap plug, please go follow me on TikTok. I'll put a link down in the description. There are other links that you could follow as well if you're interested. I have an Instagram, and there's also a blog page called Medium that I write on. So if you are interested in any way to keep up with me in other variations of content, please do so. If you enjoy these review style videos for basketball movies like this, please let me know. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, and in those comments, let me know what movie you would like to see me review next. I have a plethora that I have seen in my life, and even if I haven't seen it, I would be more than happy to add to my repertoire. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you. I really can't explain to you how much it means to me. I've had to overcome a lot of self-doubt and anxiety in doing something like this. So making it all the way really does mean a lot to me. If you like this video, again, consider subscribing, check out all my other links, and most importantly, tell somebody you love them.